My path in medicine started when I was 18 years old. I started studying medicine, Western medicine. I became a dentist, and I worked as a dentist for some years. And during that time, I realized that I needed to approach the patient, the person, in a more holistic way. And I ended up studying nearly 1 year in a Daoist temple in the Wudang Mountains, the Five Immortals temple, under the teachings of my master Li Shifu, with whom I studied Daoist medicine, martial arts, and about Taoism. In my point of view, the main difference between traditional Chinese medicine, Western medicine, and Daoist medicine is mostly about the connection. We need to have knowledge and skill in order to practice healing, but connection is a very important element. We connect to the spirit because each person, each body, each organ has its own spirit. And also we need to see the person as part of a whole, of being part of a cosmos, of a macrocosmos, and being ourselves a mirror of this macrocosmos in our own microcosmos. So all the phenomena, all what happens in the universe, in nature, happens in men and in every living being. So when we understand that, we are able to understand what is influencing us and how to regulate that.
My name is Andrea, and in 2017, I was very sick. I had different conditions. Among them, I had a thyroid condition that was diagnosed years before, for which I was taking Western medicine, and I was supposed to take it all my life, and it was supposed to get worse and worse. I practically couldn't eat anything, and I would feel really terrible, very painful. And I also had severe anxiety attacks for over 20 years, among other minor and major disorders, but those were the most important three. And that same year, I met a very good friend of mine who had been in a Daoist temple in the mountains of China. And he told me to me about this incredible healer. And all his story was so inspiring to me that I immediately knew I had to go. And so I went there this year, 2017. I stayed there 6 months. I learned several very ancient Taoist techniques, like Qigong, Tai Chi, meditation. I did reciting of mantras, reciting of numbers, like special codes, reciting sacred scriptures. I took different herbal formulas. I created music. And yeah, what I found beautiful about these practices is that they all, in different ways, use the body, use your breathing, your awareness, your intention, the power of your thoughts, the power of vibration to heal. And what you really practice, and it is what really heals you, is the practice of presence, the practice of silence, the practice of connection with who you truly are.
This medical system that we practice emerged from the culture of Daoism, which is a tradition that developed from the teaching of Lao Tzu around the 6th century before Christ, but also is based on an even more ancient cultural heritage that China has. And in this culture, medicine has played a vital role since the beginning, since the harmony with nature and the cherishing of life was considered central in this philosophy. Most of the knowledge, until very recent times, was still transmitted orally between teachers and students, mostly in temples and in households. In modern times, during the Cultural Revolution, there has been a great work of reunifying Chinese medicine under the name of TCM, or Traditional Chinese Medicine. And in this work there has been a pretty strong effort to eliminate or filter this knowledge from its most spiritual aspect.
The methods are mostly pretty similar to Chinese medicine methods, but the intention mainly is different, this connection. For example, as a Daoist healer or a Daoist doctor, since one practices self-cultivation and the connection and can perceive the energy fields to understand which door needs to be opened in that patient.
After months of practice, both in the temple and after my stay in the temple, and really looking back and monitoring what I feel and my thoughts, I have realized that the main cause of illness is that we have too much noise in our minds, and that noise creates a sense of separation. And what happens is that we identify ourselves so much with that noise that prevents us to connect with the bright side of our minds. And what we have to do during our practice is to heal this perception of ourselves, to heal our perception of our world as we slowly identify with this bright side of ours.
In these philosophies, it is believed that the sickness comes as a manifestation of some sort of imbalance inside the body. It's like a way from the body to communicate to the individual that there is some aspect where he is not living in harmony with his nature. In this way, the healing process, it becomes really a growing process and a transformational process for the patient, where it's not just about eliminating the sickness, but is about growing out of the sickness. This opens a totally new dimension of healing. It is very important that this transformation process happens in the patients, and he's ready to undergo a change of habits, a change of thoughts. So going through this transformational process, the patient is able to transcend the limitation that created the illness in the first place. And in this way, he is able to enter an even more great state of harmony and resonance with his true nature and come to express even more what he or she is. So, in a way, to achieve healing, it is important to go through a process of looking inside and individuating what is the message behind this situation, what is the learning experience that needs to be carried out for this healing to be completed. In this way, the illness can be seen as a mean for the personal transformation of the individual.
So as you do this work of healing your perception, you will slowly start to listen to the right voice of your mind. You will start to receive proper guidance. And it is really not an easy process. It is really hard work. It needs a lot of perseverance, it needs a lot of willingness, it needs a lot of trust, a lot of presence. but it is totally doable. And actually that was one of the things that caught me the most about Qigong, for example. I started practicing before going to the temple, and I was so amazed by the clarity of thoughts that I started to feel. And my mind was so noisy at the time that I was like, wow, like such a different state of being, and it was just really beautiful. And that really pushed me to start looking for other options of healing and to trust that it was possible and that I could do it myself.
There is a lot that we can take back in our hands about our healing processes. Our thought, our emotions are really accessible to us, to our mind. And it just depends on our willingness to work with them, to take care of this aspect actively. It's those small things that will bring a consistent effect, a stable effect, a real transformative effect to the life of a person.
It is a very challenging but also inspiring process, because you really have to face yourself. You have to face your fears, you have to face your thoughts, you have to face your beliefs, you have to face your guilt, your wounds, your unconscious. And these practices really get you gently to the point where you can really do that, where you could really see it and embrace it. It's a really progressive path.
Since I came back from China 3 years ago, every day I still feel the unfolding of the experience I had at the Five Immortals Temple, the teachings of Li Shifu making echo in my thoughts, in my practice, also in my professional life when I treat my patients.
So before going to the temple and I started practicing these techniques, I had really no idea about their spiritual approach or their connection to traditional Chinese medicine. But I was really determined, and to me healing was just a decision. And one of the most important things that I learned through the process was to trusting myself, listening and connecting with who I am, and trusting that I was capable. There was a moment, I remember, by the middle of my process, where I really started to question myself. What if I wake up and I don't have to take my medicine anymore? What if I wake up and I no longer feel this pain? What if I wake up and I no longer have any of these symptoms? And I think that moment was a point where all my healing started to accelerate, because I started to question the belief. And also, I learned to trust my teacher. His guidance was key. I think in general, in a journey like this, which is so challenging and so difficult in a way, but at the same time is so simple, we are so caught in our minds, in our beliefs, in our fears, that we definitely need guidance. And your teacher is not a superhero. Your teacher doesn't have special powers. Your teacher is a person that is just more aware of the power that we have as humans. And so with this higher awareness that he has achieved through his own experience, through his own practice, he guides you, he reads you, and he can really give you what you need. And yeah, just give you the steps and follow up and just walk with you through the process. And I think Li Shifu is a proper teacher, and I'm very grateful that I found the right person to walk with me.
So the role of the Daoist doctor, more than healing the person, is guiding the person in a journey of self-healing. It's a very empowering process, because it's not only the patient going to the doctor to make his pain go away, but he's really working together with him, allowing this transformation to happen from him.
And very important to be a healer or to heal yourself and be able to heal others. There is a whole path of self-cultivation. One needs to practice compassion, to try to have a pure heart, honesty, treat the other as if it was his own mother or father or child. And one must refine the character in order to become a clear channel for healing. And if we unfold this capacity, this power that we have within us, then we will be able to help others in their own healing process.
And through this process of building trust with myself and with my teacher, I also learned to just allow things to be, allow my emotions to be, allow my fears to be, and just observe. And that is an exercise that I think most people in the West just don't take the time, and it is so important to just allow yourself to be. Otherwise, how can you know yourself, no? And so the value is to find this space where you allow yourself, and then you have the methods and the techniques to go inwards, to go deeper, and then have the teacher to guide you through the whole process.
So this actually is what I believe is the most precious aspect that natural medicine can bring to humanity in these times. Not only obviously the fact that it's sustainable, that is natural, but even more important than this, it's because it is empowering for the patient, because he can really feel that he's bringing his life in his own hands.
Fire has been, since ages, a fundamental element in human survival. And since very early times, fire has been used as a medicine to relieve pain, to restore energy, to help to tonify the body. If our bodies are cold, our blood is not flowing as it should, our body functions are impaired, there is pain, there is stiffness, and chronic condition can develop from a cold body. So we try to keep our natural heat, and fire healing is a very good tool to bring back heat when we lost it. Fire healing uses a plant-based medicinal oil or alcohol, which will be applied on the patient, and this formula will penetrate in the bloodstream, in the tissues, by the help of application of fire. So this is a very ancient method, but very effective to bring back heat to the body. Because to keep healthy, to prevent diseases, our body needs heat in a balanced way. When I studied Daoist medicine, it was the first time I connected with the plants in their natural environment. So I learned with my master, with Li Shifu, I learned how to recognize the plants. And he would say, when you don't know them, they are all weeds. When you know them, they become medicine. When we harvest plants for medicine, we should enter the forest or the medicine garden with respect. We should be humble. We should have a clean intention and remember that each plant has its own spirit, and connect with that spirit in order to ask for healing, ask for guidance, and humbly ask for help. We can find in this forest honeysuckle, dandelion, plantain, skullcap, and violet. All these plants are used in Daoist medicine formulas. And all these formulas are to relieve heat, to clear heat and relieve toxicity in the body. So they are great anti-inflammatory plants used in traditional Chinese medicine. But Fortunately, also, we can find them here and we can practice Daoist medicine with our resources. Nowadays, to work with plant medicine, with herbs, is very troublesome because these plants are not picked in the wild anymore. They are not in their natural environment. So the herbal industry became the enemy of the healers because the plants have no longer medicinal power. They are made in factories, they are stored too much time. They are not processed in the right way in order to preserve their medicinal powers. So if we have the chance to study, to be able to recognize these plants in their natural environment, they are everywhere. So these teachings, this learning about herbal medicine is a precious tool for healing. Ideally, one can have a small herbal garden at home to grow the main plants, the ones we can use for many purposes. But that requires proper place in the nature, away from the city, in a clean environment, with clean water, fresh air. So that is not so easy nowadays in society. But having the chance to have a bit of a garden in an environment like this one, it is amazing. It takes though time, patience. It needs that we take good care of it, to be present. It is an exercise of observing, of taking care of, and connecting with our medicine. There's also acupressure. We can work on acupuncture points without needles, using our hands. But for that, one needs to practice the skill on his own hands. So the practice of Qigong, it is important to be able to feel the Qi. So my master Li Shiku used to say that medicine, Daoist medicine, martial arts, and the Tao are unified.
In the practice of Qigong, we use a combination of visualization exercise, breathing exercise, and movement with the body. So the human body emanates its own particular vibration and has its own field. And with the practice of Qigong, it is possible to work actively with this field. It is believed that it's composed by various qualities of energy that correspond to various elements, various organs. And for this to be healthy, it is vital that these qualities are in a balanced and harmonious state. So in a sense, we feel that there is so much more that we could do. There is so much more potential in our body. And the problem is that often so much our mind works against us, like if different aspects of ourselves are opposing each other and not working harmoniously for the well-being of the individual. So in this work of connecting with the different energies inside of us and harmonizing those fields, we can really make these forces work more together, more harmoniously. And in this way we can have a more intelligent use of our energy. So it is really like a journey of uncovering different aspects, uncovering different layers of issues, of pathologies, of emotional traumas, or limiting thinking patterns. So all these aspects are really vital to uncover, and they really compose an organic picture of your own state of health. In truth, every quality of energy has a lot of depth, a lot of wisdom, a lot of value in it. In this way, when we heal a specific issue, a specific quality, not only we eliminate a blockage that we have, but also we are able to reintroduce the positive aspects of this energy into our system. And so we don't only come back to our normal state as we were before without the suffering, the pain, but also we put this energy into use in a positive way, and we access greater levels of expression, of efficiency. So it is really important to learn the ability to sense the lines which resonate more as correct, and to practice to consistently move more along those lines. In this way, we create thinking patterns, emotional habits, or energetical habits, we can say, that are more and more fitting our nature. Because if in the end, all the illnesses are a manifestation of us going against our nature, then trying to follow our nature, trying to really explore what our being deeply wants, deeply desires, then is the straightest path to prevent and to heal illnesses.
Another method, which is very common in Daoist medicine, is moxibustion. It is very common to use moxibustion together with acupuncture. It's application of heat in points and regions of the body to expel cold and prevent disease or to heal.
Circular movements, and if the patient says it's too hard.
So moxibustion uses artemisia, which is mugwort in English. It is the most common plant used in moxibustion. In Daoist medicine, we plant our own mugwort. So we have also here in Europe also some species. And this plant is dried and made into like a cotton, like a wool. And then it's rolled like a cigar. And then we light these cigars and bring the heat of it to certain points or regions in the body. And there is also a special day in which mugwort should be harvested, because this is the day, the point of the year where the power of the plant reaches its peak. We are connecting to the cosmological order, to the seasons, to the energy cycle of the cosmos. So when we harvest our plant like this, and when we do our own moxibustion sticks with this plant, we are sure to have much more medicinal power in it.
To get rid of the water.
Well, you can use moxa, but also cupping and massage. Tuina is very good, and cupping to remove dampness. But if it's cold damp, then you can use moxa. And there is also the I Ching. The I Ching is an ancient book used for thousands of years as an oracle. I Ching has been used for forecast, to ask for guidance, to preview the future, to make decisions. Since the time of dynasties and emperors, it was pretty much used. It is a good tool also for healing. We can use the I Ching to help regulate and to diagnose, to choose the right time for healing, to choose the right method for healing. It is a very good tool for self-regulation. Once you learn it and you have some knowledge about how to use the I Ching, it is a very interesting and very powerful tool. The I Ching is based on the cyclical energy transformation of the cosmos. And since we are part of that cosmos and we are influenced by these transformation cycles, we can use this tool, the I Ching, which translates these changings. It is the book of changes. We can use it to understand the changes in our own body. So our energy also transforms in a cyclic way, and this can be forecasted. So we can, with the help of the I Ching, understand what we can do to help to balance and regulate this energy in order to heal. And there are many other methods. The most important is to practice, to become proficient, and besides the methods, we need to practice stillness, to practice connection. And this is why we are here, to learn how to reconnect and how to become a pure-hearted, compassionate, with a pure intention healer.
And the gift of this experience is that I came out of the temple completely healed. I'm not taking Western medicine anymore. I barely have symptoms of everything I had. And if I slightly have any discomfort, I have learned to not control it, but actually allow it to be and really, again, listen to what is really telling me. And when I do listen, then I have the way to disarticulate it, and then the symptoms go away.
So as we know that with our thoughts we can really affect the situation we are in, a beautiful day can become a dreadful day, a horrible day, a painful day. With our mindset we really affect our experience until the point that we can cause ourselves physical pain. We can cause even ourselves a sickness. And in the same way that thoughts can affect our physical body and create sickness, it also has the power to heal. In truth, it is very important to note that in Daoist medicine, all the external methods that are used, including acupuncture, medicines, or whatever type of treatment, they all function as support systems for the self-transformation process of the patient, in a way that is just like a little push for the patient to do his own work. So it is very important that a doctor of these types of medicine dedicates a lot of time to his own self-observation. In this way, he will just be more experienced in understanding the various obstacles, the various obstructions that manifest into the mind, into the character. And it will be more able to guide the patient in his own healing journey. In truth, we call healthy the state of no illnesses, but there is always a greater level of well-being we can achieve.
is Julian. She knows this already.
How you know?
She practiced with Bashful.